Okay, welcome back. We're on page 579. We're talking about the cumulative interest and cumulative principal kind of things. Now let's just check their math, because this is supposed to be the cumulative interest paid for that first month. And here's the cumulative principal paid for that first month. Well, let's just do a very quick check. Make sure that that plus that. And sure enough, it comes out to $1,058.25. Woohoo! It'd be pretty bad if somehow the machine got the wrong answer. Okay. I kind of sort of mentioned to you that most people don't use the cumulative interest and cumulative principal guys when you only have one period. And the reason is there's another version of this exact same command which is tailor-made for doing things in one period. And it's called remember we have payment, and then we have I payment and P payment. What do you think that stands for? Like interest paid for the payment and principal paid for the payment? Okay. So right underneath here, I'm just gonna say this one was interest. So I'm gonna say I payment, IPMT. Let's see if we can figure it out. So the rate is that divided by 12. This is getting kind of old, huh? This is the per. Well, what the heck is the per? Well, the per means which month you're talking about. So in this case, I'm talking about month 1. Okay. The total number, 12, and present value is here. Now, what do you think? You think I'm going to have to do some negative things? Ah, well, I do. All right, let's go ahead and just make this guy, because this is more like the payment guy, because it looks like the payment guy, right? I mean, it's just payment, except this is just I payment. Don't they look a lot alike? I mean, tell me, right? The only difference is they have a capital I in front of one of them. Well, it's not exactly true, because we told it what month we're talking about. All right, let's go over here and do the same thing over again. So instead of having I payment, it's P payment. And gee, you think maybe it's going to be that divided by that. 1 meaning I want the first payment guy, and then this guy, and then that guy. And it came out exactly right. Yay, I don't even have to check the math because it came out the same as the guy above, so we must be doing okay. Okay, so this and this are equivalent. Clearly, the payment guys are a little easier to deal with because you don't have to worry about cumulative interest over time, because we're only talking about the interest paid for that one period. So we're going to build an amortization table. Okay, so I guess I'll put it over. Well, I'll put it right here. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be the month. And so I'm going to start with 1 and go to 2. And then I'm going to use the cool little autofill guy to go down to 42. Whoa. Okay, now I have 42. So I want to know how much is going to be, let's do interest first. How much is going to be interest? And how much is going to be principal? Okay, so here we go. Now, which one of these am I going to use? Well, I'm going to use the easy one because, hey, I'm an easy kind of guy. So this would be IPMT. So the rate. Now, I'm going to be dragging this down with an autofill. So I want to lock one of these guys. Which one do I lock? Do I lock the B or do I lock the 4? Well, if I'm trying to lock it going down is numbers. I want to lock the 4, right? So this would be. Oops, this would be B, whoop, oh. So I want to put the dollar sign on the 4, divided by 12. Now, the period, the one we're talking about is this guy. So it's just this, right? So the first time through it's a 1, second time through it's a 2. So it's that, okay, cool. Number of periods, again, I want that to be B $3. And I want this to be B $2. Okay, you understand the reasoning for why I had to put the dollar signs on there? Because, whoa, what happened to my divide by 12 thing? That got messed up, didn't it? Okay, cool. So, because I'm trying to drop anchor on the numbers are going to be going up and down. All right, so let's hit the button. And there we go. I'm going to just drag this guy out. And as it worked, because you can see the amount of interest I'm paying is very high at the beginning and very low towards the end. Cool. So let's do the same thing over again using PPMT. Same thing as before. I got to have the rate, but the rate has to have a drop anchor. Still have to divide by 12. The period is still going to be this guy, because when I autofill it down, it'll make sense. And number of periods is this guy, but I have to drop anchor. Dang it. And this guy is the present value, but I have to drop anchor. Okay. Grab this guy and go. Ding. Okay. Now let's check their math. I mean, the likelihood of them making a mistake is relatively low, but what the heck? So this would be the payment. And it's just going to be that plus that. Let's grab this and zip it on down. And yay, they didn't make any mistakes. It all came out right. Woohoo! Okay, now you could have done this with the cumulative guy, the cumulative interest, and the cumulative payment guy. Could have. It's just, this is a heck of a lot easier way of doing it. Okay. Again, just like this guy, most people put the negative sign in there for the loan amount. So the B2 guy, this, you know, most people would have done that. And over here would have done that. Put a negative sign there. And then grab these two and go. Okay. But, you know, for our purposes, it doesn't really matter. But the point is that, yeah, payment and interest and principal all works the way you'd expect it to work. Alrighty. Okay. So, I think we kind of beat loans to death. That's about all there is to know about loans. So, we're getting ready to change the topic here. On page 583, we're talking about evaluating investments. So, an investment in theory is the exact opposite. Instead of me giving me $40,000 and then I pay them, it's the other way around. I give them $40,000 and they pay me $1,000 a month. Okay. So the whole concept of present value is slightly different now because, you know, present value is well, it's different. Okay. So there's a couple of terms you have to understand. So on page 583, they talk about the PV, the present value guy. And there's a thing called yield to maturity. And so let's say, for example, that I want to know, I want to invest $40,000 at 6% for 5 years. But I want to get $2,000 a month out of it. That's my goal. So let's just work out what that would be. So using some financial terms here, I'm going to put par value. And I know this is kind of weird because you might think that the PV means so many things now. It's a little confusing. So it's $40,000, just like we did before. The maturity, which means this is a bond that's going to mature in 5 years. And then what the coupon rate. And the coupon rate is like, how much do I want to get back? So I want to get back 5% per year. And if you do the math, so what would my payment be if my maturity rate was that? Well, that'd be kind of simple. It'd be that times that. So my coupon rate determines what I'm getting back. Okay. So the yield to maturity, again, this is the real interest rate. The coupon rate is what you're supposed to be getting, and the yield to maturity, let's just make up something. Let's just say 6%. And so I want to know what the present value is to see if this is actually a good deal or not. So now that I've set it all up, now it's actually time to do it. Okay. PV. Okay. So what is the rate? Now the rate now here is not the coupon rate because that was just a number given to you to calculate what your payment's going to be. So it's actually this guy. Now for this example, I'm assuming that we're talking about per year, right? So maturity is years, and so you not a monthly interest being evaluated here. So I do not have to divide by 12 in this example because it's whatever it is, 6% per year, and I'm doing this per year. Okay. So the Number of payments, well, the number of payments is going to be 5. The payment I'm getting out of this guy is $2,000, and what the future value thing would be. Now this part is the one that gets a little confusing, because if I'm trying to figure this thing out, my future value is this thing's going to be worth $40,000 at the end. So I filled all this stuff out and hit the return, and I can tell you that yay, I come up with the answer. I'm going to go ahead and just let's see if I can put a minus sign in here to make that guy work. Yay! Came up 21. What was it before? If I take the minus sign out, 38. So this is one of those where I basically have to put the minus sign here. I cannot put the minus sign in the other part. I don't know, kind of weird. So this is a technique for determining what the present value of this investment is. Okay, and you can look at that and go, my goodness, my present value is going to be worth less than the par value, so this is probably not a good deal. Anyway, that's the whole idea of present value. Again, if you're an accounting geek, you can have a little bit more fun with this, but that's not really what we're here to. We're here to learn Excel spreadsheet stuff. Okay, so that's present value. The only thing weird here is there's 2 different percents. The coupon rate in this case doesn't even have to appear on the screen. I just did that to show you where the $2,000 came from. So if I was to hide that cell, the only interest rate that would be there is this yield to maturity guy. Okay, cool. So to make this an attractive option, I can just say, well, I want a smaller yield to maturity or something like that. In fact, let's just go here and change that to, I don't know, 3%. So I'm taking out less money. Okay. All right. Well, let's continue. So let's work out, instead of buying bonds, let's say that you're a hardworking guy or gal and you want to put money away. So you're going to put in a savings account. I want to deposit $100 a month. Okay, so here's my deposit. And I want to put in $100 a month because that's how much I think I can get away with. My savings account, let's say I want to do this for num period, let's say 24 months, so 2 years, right? For 2 years. And interest rate, since I've been using 6 all along, I might as well just use 6% again here. Okay, so that's my 6%, and I want to know how much that's going to be worth at the end of 2 years. I'm putting in $100 a month at 6% interest at the end of the time, so I want to know the future value. What is the future value of my deposit? So this is FV, future value. Okay. The rate, in this case, it is going to be divided by 6. Can you see? I mean, divided by 12. Can you see that? If I put a 2 here for years, so I'm assuming that this is compounded monthly. All right, so it'd be that divided by 12. Number of periods is 24. The payment is that. And so my guy is going to be worth $2,500. I'm going to move it underneath this guy just to make it a little prettier. So this is how much what's the future value. I don't know what else you could call it. The future value of this is $2,500. Yeah. Okay, so present value tells you what things are worth now. Future value tells you what they're going to be worth later, right? Got to make sense. Okay. So that's future value and present value, right? Let's kind of, I know it's a little weird. We're kind of moving on. The next one is net present value on page 587. And what I'm trying to explain here is this present value is if you already know what the payments are coming out of this system and you want to evaluate them, then you have, present value. If you know what the deposits are and everything else. But what happens if the amount coming out is not uniform? For example, there are companies out there that you'll strike a loan. Like I'm going for a business loan. All right, so let's say I'm borrowing $40,000. Might as well keep the numbers the same for some reason. Well, this is a good place to stop for the 15-minute mark. We'll finish this up in just a few.